Royal Caribbean's made some big changes to its drink package and one of its bars, and both of these are things you're going to want to know about when you go on a cruise pretty soon. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. As you know, I'm always trying to bring you all the latest Royal Caribbean news and happenings out there, and there are two interesting changes that Royal Caribbean made. Two changes I didn't see coming at all. I wanted to share with you what they are and what to expect. Let's start with number one. It's a big one. Royal Caribbean's made a big change to one of its rules regarding its drink package. So as you may have known, with Royal Caribbean's unlimited alcohol package, if one adult in the stateroom purchases it, then all the other adults in the cabin need to book it as well. Now, there was a well-known caveat that basically, if you called Royal Caribbean before the cruise and explained that person either didn't want to or could not consume alcohol, then they would allow that other person to purchase the less expensive Royal Refreshment package. But Royal Caribbean has now updated its policy to remove that options. Now, rumors were swirling pretty quickly that the rules had changed, and I reached out to Royal Caribbean to confirm it or refute it. And as it turned out, the rumors were true. According to a Royal Caribbean spokesperson, quote, beginning August 1st, Royal Caribbean will no longer be able to grant exceptions to our policy that both guests in a stateroom must purchase the deluxe beverage package, end quote. So this means you can no longer call in and get the Royal Refreshment package as an alternative. And to be clear, this rule regarding the deluxe beverage package and other adults needing to buy it if one elects to do so only applies to the deluxe beverage package. It does not apply to the refreshment package or the soda package. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why didn't the New York Mets bolster their bullpen during the trade deadline, as well as why is Royal Caribbean making this change? Now, this shift is a pretty big surprise. I can't say I saw it coming, but according to Royal Caribbean, and this is a direct quote now, this change allows us to ensure guests are consuming their beverage package responsibly. Over time, requests for exceptions have increased, and sharing of packages has continued, which led us to implement this policy change, end quote. So what this really means is that this policy was really meant to be like this lesser known, just in case we have it kind of thing. But two things happened. One, there were a lot more people that became aware of it, and maybe that's because of me and other people who've been sharing some, of course, great tips and information you should know about a cruise. But I think more of the issue, and this goes back to what they were talking about, consuming it responsibly, is that folks were basically sharing the drink package. This has been a problem since day one of Royal Caribbean's drink packages, where basically people are breaking the rules, and too many people are doing so by buying a deluxe beverage package and then turning around and sharing those benefits, buying drinks for people that don't have a drink package. As it pertains to this situation, too many people were calling into Royal Caribbean to get the exception placed, and then whoever had the deluxe beverage package was sharing their benefits with the people that didn't have it, only had the refreshment package. It seems to me that Royal Caribbean determined the level of abuse of the drink package benefits and sharing with those that have circumvented the rules had reached a breaking point. And to be clear, no other cruise line had that kind of a caveat. This is actually the second time Royal Caribbean has had to cave to these kind of pressures, whereas other lines didn't have the rules and they tried to be different, and it just backfired on them. When Royal Caribbean first came out with the drink packages in general, other lines had the, if one person has it, everyone in the cabin has to have it rule. And for many years early on, Royal Caribbean didn't have that rule because they thought it was unfair. Because it was, but then of course they realized, well, didn't matter. People were still abusing the rules and using their drink package benefits to share with people that didn't have it. So as a result, they had to then add that rule in here. And once again, now today, we have this new change with the removal of this loophole, caveat, whatever you want to call it. It's unfortunate because there are some people who genuinely cannot drink alcohol for medical reasons, whether they're pregnant, recovering alcoholics, or some other medical issue that they may have. The bottom line is too many people are abusing the rule, and Royal Caribbean's not in the business of getting into people's medical histories and demanding proof. I mean, we kind of went through that whole thing here in 2020 and 2021. We don't need to bring up, providing proof of what issues you may have, not to mention there's some legal issues there. Anyway, the bottom line is this rule is now kaput. If you're now finding yourself in a situation where this is going to directly affect you because you were taking advantage of the option to call in and get the refreshment package and you weren't abusing it, well, there are some other ideas to consider. First and foremost, you don't need to buy a drink package. I know we all love the drink package, but if you skip the drink package entirely and pay for drinks individually, and of course there are drink specials and different deals out there, hey, you might be able to make do with that. There are a couple other ways, though, that you might work for you depending on your preferences. First and foremost, you could move up to a suite. When you book a suite cabin, that is a grand suite or higher, not junior suite, then you're able to get access to the suite lounge, which includes beer, wine, and cocktails during certain hours of the day. In fact, on Oasis, Icon, and Quantum Class ships, beer and wine is available in the suite lounge complimentary from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., so that's a lot of time. Another strategy I've talked about a lot in this channel is attaining Prime status in Royal Caribbean's casino program. And if you do that, then you're able to enjoy unlimited alcoholic drinks in the ship's casino bar. Of course, gambling for the sake of getting free drinks, do this responsibly and all that. However, if that does work for you, that could be an option. If you're a diamond level member in Crown and Anchor Society, or at least you can get there somewhat soon, you can get 4 complimentary drinks per day, and that goes up to 5 if you are Diamond Plus, or even 6 for a Pinnacle Club. And having 4, 5, or 6 free drinks a day, well, it's kind of like a mini drink package, because if you're drinking 4, 5, 6 drinks a day that are free, and then paying for the ones on top of that cash, you're probably coming out ahead unless you're drinking like 15 to 20 drinks a day. And of course, don't forget, you're allowed to bring 1 bottle of wine per adult on embarkation day is another strategy to that. So there are ways to work around it. There's also drink specials. We've seen a lot of actually onboard specials, where it's the drink of the day, the shot of the day, happy hour specials. I've noticed way more of these drink specials on board over the last year or so. And another thing I've noticed, if you're going to just say, forget it, I'm just getting the drink package and we're going to pay for it, is that, once again, you should never pay for the price of the drink package on board the ship. There are some significant deals on drink packages if you pre-purchase them before the sailing and you watch it like a hawk and look for a really good sale out there. Many times, I've actually been impressed with the drink package sales lately, where I've seen the average price well below $60 per person per day in the last couple of sailings I've been on, where basically, because of different sales and promotions that are out there, I've seen some really incredible sales. Can't promise you'll see them, but I have noticed a change in Royal Caribbean's approach to its pre-cruise pricing. Clearly, they're looking to get more of those going there. So while buying someone a alcoholic drink package they're not going to be able to take advantage of because they can't drink alcohol, at least if you can get it for a pretty good price, that helps take the sting out of it just a little bit more. Now, there's one other change I really wanted to highlight, and that is Royal Caribbean's testing out a new adults-only policy at one of its bars on Icon of the Seas. So the Swim and Tonic bar has a swim-up bar, and it's a really cool idea where basically it's the only bar in the fleet where you have a swim-up bar built into the ship. And this particular bar now is undergoing a test where you need to be at least 18 years old to go there. Up until now, it had been available for all ages. But as of a recent sailing, Royal Caribbean has made the policy change there, where they've actually required you to be 18 plus, just like you would have to be in order to use the pool in the solarium or the hideaway in the case of Icon of the Seas. Once again, I reached out to Royal Caribbean for confirmation about this, and they said at Royal Caribbean, we're constantly listening to our guests' feedback and exploring opportunities to enhance our guest vacations. Currently, we're piloting 18 plus age requirement at Swim and Tonic Pool on board Icon of the Seas. This will only be tested on board Icon, end quote. And in my opinion, this makes a lot of sense that it's offering an integrated bar experience that would be only for adults. Among the different pools you'll find on Icon, Swim and Tonic is designed to offer like a bar experience first, rather than a swimming option first. And there is a bar on one end of the pool along with in-pool tables to place your beverages. And surrounding the pool are in-water loungers. And it really seems in practice that while you would think, well, families and kids wouldn't want to hang out here, the reality is there were a lot of kids hanging out there because their parents were, in my opinion, kind of just sitting at the bar enjoying their time. And the kids would well become, kids, and they would move around a little bit, and there was splashing involved. And basically, it kind of ruined the vibe a little bit. I think Royal Caribbean wants to test out, based on guest feedback, what that's like. Now, there are still family-friendly pools left on Icon of the Seas. You've got, of course, Splashaway Bay and Baby Bay over in Surfside. You have the Cove Pool, which is an infinity-style option, Royal Bay Pool, which is one of the deepest and biggest pools at sea, and you still have Cloud 17 as well. So what does Matt think about both of these changes? Well, starting with the Swim and Tonic change, I think it makes a lot of sense. Nearly all the comments I've read have been very similar, or people wanted to go and enjoy it, and they're not like kid haters. I'm certainly not a kid hater. I have my own kids. I think having children be part of the cruise experience is part of a family cruise line, so I don't have a problem with having kids at a bar. However, when it's a swim-up bar and you've got the elements of splashing and water getting places, and it does, I think, ruin the vibe to some extent. I applaud Royal Caribbean for at least trying it out. They're saying it's a test, and they claim it's only on Icon of the Seas. We'll see when we get on Star if it'll be extended there as well. But the bottom line is, I think there is a good rationale here. It seems unfortunate that it had to come to this, but while I do think there's nothing wrong with having kids at a bar on Royal Caribbean ships in general, in the case of the Swim and Tonic, I do think it makes some sense. As for the drink package change, it's an unfortunate truth that's out there. And I feel bad, really, for the people that had legit medical issues and, of course, the people that simply were following the rules. As an example, my wife rarely uses enough drinks in a drink package to make it worthwhile, so I would almost always call to get her the refreshment package. Now, of course, she has, her own drinks with being a Pinnacle Club member, but even without that, I'd be more than willing to pay cash for her drinks because she's just not going to drink enough every day to make a drink package purchase worthwhile. But as I've seen plenty of times anecdotally, there are a lot of people who simply don't follow the rules. Either they think the rules don't apply to them, think they're being sneaky, or more often than not, it's very casual cheating. I see comments all the time on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com of, hey, I'm buying the drink package for myself, but you know what? So-and-so who's cruising with me, they don't drink a lot, so I just want to give them like 1 or 2 drinks a day. It may not seem like a big deal, but that is the problem Royal Caribbean is talking about here. I certainly don't want Royal Caribbean to go into a daily limit or some sort of like a mandatory waiting period where you have to like wait like 10 minutes for a next drink or something like that. That creates an even worse guest experience overall. And so this seems, unfortunately, to be a necessary evil if they're seeing that it's rampant enough. And I certainly believe it. As cruising as much as I do, it just seems like it's something, unfortunately, people take advantage of. And, well, here we are. Speaking of the drink package, though, our next video is about why more cruisers are ditching the drink package and what they're doing instead to get around it. Maybe this video is actually going to help you with this newfound rule have a better approach to cruising. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so YouTube lets you know of a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.